All right, we're live. Welcome in. We're back. The Gentleman's Code, episode 11. We were just talking before we went live. This feels like it's been 2 months since we did this. I don't know why it feels so long. I think because we get so excited to talk to the people, talk to each other, that it just feels like a long, extended period of time when it's really not. But welcome everyone that's tuning in, that will watch this in the future. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know to get into the Taylor's Code. We have Priamo has a new section in the Taylor's Code, the Ultimate Crypto Plays. So Priamo's giving you guys the juice on some new crypto plays going live. That's going to be a paid version inside the Taylor's Code. So if you're involved in the crypto network that we've already built and that people have already listened to, we've had different plays like Brett and Andy and all different other plays that we've announced in the general Discord. But if you want to get involved in the nitty gritty stuff, and some of the stuff that I got planned with BullX, the new little trading platform I got that's going to make me millions of dollars here in this upcoming bull run. Get involved in there. But that's all I have for the intro, Priamo. Welcome back. I see you're in a new location. You want to tell the people what's going on?
For sure. So, yeah, and it does feel like it was more than a week, which we were laughing because it's always 1 week from every episode. But this time it felt longer than usual, probably because we didn't go live at 8 a.m. Eastern like we typically do. And that's because I'm in Mexico right now. So I won't tell you exactly where in Mexico because I want to keep it mysterious. Don't worry. It's not Cancun or Tulum, one of those main tourist attractions. Now we got a little bit more flavor than that. So we're in a obscure remote location. But it's fantastic. It's awesome, which I want to echo I want to make a point about traveling, but before I go into that, I want to echo what Bobby was saying in terms of becoming a part of the organization that we have inside the Taylor's Code. We talk about it every single stream at the beginning, just to let you guys know who aren't already inside, that we have a dedicated network, organization, and university set up so that people like myself, Bobby, other successful people in their respective industries are able to give mentorship, give guidance, teach the people around the world, whether it's in the United States, India, UK, does not matter where you live, give you the tools and the education to be able to make money online for yourselves. Because as the world continues to go down that route of becoming digital, everything being online, now you have AI coming, crypto starting to take over financial markets, crypto starting to take over the monetary system. As all these things are happening, you got to be able to adapt and develop into those industries so that you can be there to make the bulk of the money as the masses start to migrate to those sectors, to those businesses. So there's people inside that are already having tons of success. I urge you, if you're not already inside of the organization right now, it's no cost to join. There's a link in the description of both of our live streams to be able to get in there. There's quite literally nothing for you to lose. It's no cost. Why would you not do it? If you didn't do it, you were literally just not trying to change your situation. So get inside there, see what it is that we have to offer. And I assure you, you contact and you're active and you're a part of the organization, you're going to make money. That's the reality of it.
There's so much free material in there now at this point too. We've been live for almost 3 months. There's so much free material in there just to get started in whatever industry you're looking for. If you want to get started in sales, Priamo's going to be your main point of contact. He could get you in there. Crypto, there's so much free material in there. E-commerce, so there's all free stuff that if you want to start making money, you don't have any excuse once you're in the university, let's be honest. So
yeah, nothing. There's absolutely nothing. If you have literally $0 to your name, you can join at no cost, get no cost course materials, and then you can start to generate money, whether it's through affiliate marketing, whether it's through the private crypto plays, whether it's building an e-commerce store with Bobby. You can make money without spending any money, right? Mm-hmm. So anyways, but point I want to go back to, so we're talking about how I'm in Mexico right now, and it made me think about just, there's so many people that I talk to, whether it's people that I'm selling to, people I do business with, just friends, etc., that they're born in a certain city or town. They grow up there. They go to college there. They get a house there. They get married there. They have kids there. They retire there. Next thing you know, they die there. And they spend their entire life living in the same location, the same plot of land that they were born on, and not realizing that by never changing your location and seeing what is out there in the rest of the world, you rob yourself so much in life. I can't explain to you how much culture, knowledge, and motivation you can get just from changing countries for a little bit, just from visiting a place for a little bit, because it reminds you that there's a whole world out there to explore, different ways to think about things, different people who act different ways in certain situations, different ways to make money, etc. That if you never experience that, it's going to be so difficult for you to be successful beyond normal job basis, right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel I talk to a lot of people that have never traveled, and even people like you said, that people that live at home still, they've never even went on a vacation far away. It's like you don't even understand what other people are doing in other states inside the United States, never mind halfway around the world. And like you said, it's a global game. Like when we're playing in crypto markets, we're battling for liquidity pools against guys in China, kids in Europe, people in who knows Africa, like wherever people are, they're trying to get in on this action. So it's a world game. You got to understand the global markets and understand how things are going to go up and down. And from a cultural perspective, like you said, it's like there's so many different people out there that have different things to offer. Not everyone's going to act the way you act, not everybody's going to talk the way you talk. So the more you could absorb from other people, it's going to teach you so much. And it's such a liberating experience when you go out and like you're in Mexico, you're meeting new people. Just that aspect of being in a new place and meeting new people makes me energized. It doesn't matter if I'm like, working or if I'm just on a leisure vacation. Being somewhere new energizes you no matter what you do. And
Yes.
and that's one of the reasons I moved down here to Florida was it was something new, it was something refreshing just to meet new people, have a new schedule, a new way of life. And it really does. It could change you for the better. That's why I always tell people if you're stuck in your position and you live at home, there's no reason now that you can't just go somewhere new, start a blank page, start fresh, to start over. There's so many options out there, and I think that's a very underrated thing that people could do. Is just if you don't like your current situation, you could change it.
Right. That's exactly the point I was going to get to. That's why I'm happy that you brought that up. Is that yeah, anybody who feels stuck in their current situation, it's because you haven't removed yourself from the environment that you've been used to for your whole life. If you never change your environment, change the people that you associate with, change the people that you try to do business with, change the people that you work with, you're never going to change your situation. That's just the reality of it. You're a product of your environment to a degree. So unless you're super, super, super strong willed and you're able to find different people in your area that can help uplift you, you got to go to a different location. So, and I always knew that intrinsically, and I learned that more as I got older, how important and how valuable it is to travel. Because when we were in college, me and Bobby went to college together. That's how we met each other. And so me and Bobby also both grew up in Pennsylvania. So Bobby in Scranton, right around Scranton,
Hmm.
right? Me in Pittsburgh. And so me and Bobby went to a different state for college. And then in college, one of the things that I did is I actually got a job out in Las Vegas. All right. One of my first jobs, well, it was my first, job with my degree, which was it was an engineering internship. And I moved out to Las Vegas. Prior to that, I had never been to Las Vegas in my entire life. I hadn't been out to the West Coast. I hadn't traveled past the Mississippi River, right? In terms of the United States. Then I get this job all of a sudden in Vegas, and I go from Pittsburgh and West Virginia, Morgantown. Boom! Now I'm in Las Vegas for 3 months. Young, don't know what I'm doing. Broke as fuck. Literally slept on a queen blow up mattress from Walmart that was $20. It's all the money that I had. So it's all the furniture I had in my apartment, and so that's just what I did for 3 months. Now, did I end up staying in Vegas? No. But what did I learn when I was out there? I learned what it was like to live broke as fuck with nobody there to just be able to pat you on the back, cook you on a meal, back at mom and dad's house where everything's taken care of. No, I was struggling out there, even though I had a job, but I didn't realize, oh yeah, they're not going to pay me until 2 weeks of me working there. So I went out there with zero money and then realized, oh shit, I'm not going to have money for 2 weeks. So I just learned how to live broke, learn how to make friends with new people that I had zero connections with. I mean, I literally knew zero people out there. There was nobody out there to introduce me to people. It was literally, if I met you in person, I would just have to start a conversation. Next thing you know, I had buddies. And it happened. That did happen. I met a lot of people out there and I made a couple of friends. So, and I learned how people, even inside of the United States, just from different states, live so differently.
Hmm.
The way that they come up, the way that they view things, the different things that they believe in are so different just from state line to state line. And so that was one of the first experiences that I had where I realized, oh shit, there's a whole world out there. There's so many different ways to do things, so many different ways to live your life. You would be robbing yourself of so much opportunity to find the best situation for yourself if you didn't ever move off of the same plot of land you were born on.
That's
Right.
so true. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go kind of far away. Like from where I grew up, it was like a 5.5 hour drive for college. But I was like, I can't do it. I can't stay here and go to school with the same people I already went to school with for 12 years, right? So when I got to college and I met people like you and all of our other friends that were all from around the United States, all different areas, that was like the first taste of that networking, of meeting other people, how they live and where they're from. And that gave us a whole branch of networking that we already, we built just from being friends with people. And then, like Priamo said, after college, he went to Vegas. I ended up going to Washington, D.C. I never lived in
Mhm.
or went anywhere to Washington, D.C. So I went to Washington, D.C. and worked for a couple years. That was brand new to me. Now I'm in a new city, don't know anybody. Just like in college, when I went to college, I didn't know anybody, had to meet new friends. Then I went after college to a new city, had to meet new friends, new connections. So that's just how you build. That's how you grow. You meet more people, you travel, you see different things, you work new jobs, you make more money. It's just, this is like the steps you have to take. So if you're stuck in your position, again, it's like you have no excuse. If you want to get out, do something new, it's all available. And actually, it's funny you mentioned the first time you went to Vegas was when you moved there. That was the first time I ever been to Vegas, was to go see Priamo in Vegas. So like that having that connection with him brought me out to Vegas and to see something new, just because I was friends with Priamo. So it's
Right.
all it's all connected.
That was fire trip. Fire. We have some good pictures on
We
that
do got
trip.
some good pictures.
So, and so the point you were making about, right, you moved to DC after college, et cetera. So this is what you guys got to think about. The reason that you moving is so important away from the people that you're used to being around, especially your family for a degree, is I used to view it as, for men, we don't necessarily go off to war anymore in the first world or in America, et cetera. It was for me like me going off to war, me leaving the family and coming back a hero, me leaving the family and coming back a man. You have to put yourself in a survival situation where you don't have that same coddling that you have at home. So it gives you the opportunity to see what you can actually do, right? When I moved out to Vegas, I was forced to figure shit out, right? When you have something in your back pocket at all times, a plan B, somebody to give you a couple of dollars, somebody to go ahead and make you a meal, etc., you're naturally not going to grow or do the things that you have to do to get out of your current situation. When I was in Vegas, I didn't have any money for furniture. So you know how I got furniture? There was a girl I met out there who just ended up having to be getting rid of her bed set, and she was getting a new bed in her room. Just so happens I didn't have a bed, right? I didn't have a bed set. I didn't have money for it. I just had a blow up mattress. So just by becoming friends with her randomly out there, boom, I was able to source a bed frame and a mattress. Bang, there's my bed. That's literally how I got it. A couple other things I got from her as well, and another guy. So then I need to get all this stuff built, right? And some of the furniture that I started collecting over the first month and two, I need to get them built because I didn't have the tools to build it. I didn't have the time. I just couldn't build them myself. I met a guy when we had gone to IKEA at one point to pick up. I believe it was a futon. Pretty sure it was a
The
futon.
funniest part about this is that this apartment, if you went on the balcony, there was an IKEA literally right in front of it, but he couldn't even buy anything from IKEA. But it was like you went on the front porch, there's the IKEA literally right in front of you.
And that was the one. Yeah. So we went to that IKEA and I was going to go pick up the futon, and the girl was getting her new bed set. And we saw a guy on the corner at IKEA with a sign up that says "Will build furniture." He's flipping this sign like, "Yeah, I'll build the furniture." And so we drive with the U-Haul. We get our stuff, we put it in the U-Haul, and we start driving back past him. It was a young dude. It was 18, 19, 20, who knows. And we go, "Hey, like, we need somebody to build the furniture. You want to build it?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, for sure." Random dude off the side of the street. We pick him up. We take him back to the spot. He starts building all the furniture. Ends up being just an absolute character. Just good guy, but goofy, super goofy. He was riding around in a motorcycle. He was making music. He was building furniture to be able to make a couple of bucks. But another young guy who had no family, nobody to pay for him to do things. He just had to be hustling out there. Again, that's how I made a new friend. And so, anyways, it forces you to learn these things that actually translate into business. So my point is now you start to get creative in the way that you solve problems. If you don't have any other solution, you have to be creative on how you solve problems. You have to be creative on how you develop relationships. And then you learn how networking, leveraging relationships, making new friends actually helps you in business, as it did for me in just regular life, by being able to source my own furniture because of that. Right. So it teaches you these life skills that you're not going to get by just being comfortable knowing the same people that you've known your whole life.
And it's a good point, and it's something that we touched on before too. Is if you have a good family, if you have parents, that are willing to take you in, that's a great plan B. Because if that's your plan A right now, and you live with your parents and you go to work, and that's you could go out and you could take risk. You don't have to be stagnant, because if you have a good family, that's one of the most blessed things on this whole earth that you have, that you could go out and do things. You can move across the country, and then something happens, it doesn't work out, you have somewhere where you could go back to regroup and then go execute again. So that's was my mentality when I went to college and went to DC, and now I live here, is that, listen, I'm going to risk it, because if
Mhm.
something ever goes wrong, I have a loving family that's going to take me in with open arms, no questions asked. And that's just one of the things that, if you have that, you could be inclined to take a little more risk on.
I agree. I agree 100%. That's exactly what I did. We were just talking about Vegas. After I folded in Vegas, those 3 months, I just was living paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to paycheck. I finally got my insurance license to be able to start getting into the insurance industry. As soon as I made my first two sales, I made about 3 grand, which was more than one of my 2 week paychecks. Then for whenever they put me on as a salary engineer. So I was on salary. I made in 3 days more than what I would make in a 2 week paycheck as an engineer. So quit my job. And what did I do? I literally flew back from Vegas and I moved right back into my parents' house.
Hmm.
And for that first year, and it would have been because I started in August. Yeah. So it was literally a year and a half that I moved from Vegas. I moved back home and I lived at home for a year and a half while I was building my first business. There's nothing wrong with that because one, I was able to take the risk, like Bobby said, made a mistake, needed to regroup, start a new business, start something new. Went back home, had that support back at the house, and I went all in on building my business. And think about how incredible this is if you guys are younger, right? 20, 21, 22, 23, you're trying to start out, you're trying to take risks, you're trying to start businesses. There's nothing wrong with living at home because I started making $20,000, $30,000 a month while I was living in my parents' house. Okay. Think about how powerful that is. Think about how much money I was pocketing every single month. I talk about this with Logan all the time. Um, think about how much money I was able to pocket by having zero expenses,
Hmm.
making that much money. So there's nothing wrong with that for you to build a base so that whenever you do go move again and you go get that nice house, you go get that nice car, etc., you can do that comfortably because you're not spending your very last dollar just to be able to have that thing, right? I had a year and a half to build up a base while making good money. So it's an advantage. It's something you should take advantage of if it makes sense for you, right? But you still have to take the risks
Hmm.
and get back out there and get out of that comfortable situation. I wouldn't say do it for more than a year or two, but whenever you need to regroup and you have to do that and you have that in your back pocket, take advantage of that. There are times to take advantage of that.
100%. There's a lot of people that won't, though. There's a lot of people that'll stay stagnant with it. And
Mm-hmm.
but like you said, if you're a young person, you have the advantage of somebody who's a little older, 30 years old, and they might have a kid now. It's like you can't go back to your parents then,
Right.
once you find a girl and you have a kid, and it's different then. So while you're young, you take the risk, and if it goes to shit, you put all your money into a shit coin and you lose it, you fucking go home. It's whatever.
Right.
But I'm not saying to do that, but I'm just saying,
Right. But you can. You can.
yeah, it's actually funny. It's how I started looking into that Bullix. This one kid, he's 20 years old. He's a trader. He made $2 million last year trading crypto, right? And he still lives with his parents. And he's just saving up to get his dream house. He's like, I'm 21 years old. I live with my parents. And he's showing his like Phantom Wallen balance. It's like 500,000, and he's chilling. So that's just like, you got to take risk while you can, because there's going to
Right.
come a point in your life where you're not going to be able to take the same risk that you were when you were fresh out of college. So,
Absolutely. The amount of times I heard that from people that I was recruiting or bringing into the insurance industry, the amount of times I've heard from somebody with a wife and kids that, oh, I couldn't possibly do commission based, or I couldn't possibly start my own business now because I got a mortgage to pay. I got kids to feed. I got things, they have so many responsibilities now where they don't feel comfortable taking any degree of risk because if they fold and they believe that they're going to fold, they're not going to do it because then they can't pay the mortgage, they can't pay the car bill, they can't pay for the kids to go to school, etc. So it removes your desire to and your appetite for risk. That's why it is so important when you're young you should be going balls to the wall. It should be do the riskiest fucking shit you could possibly imagine. But don't just do it to be stupid. Do your research, do what makes sense, do what you believe is actually going to make money. I'm not just saying do dumb shit, but be as risky as humanly possible. Like me and Bobby, what am I going to put my money in a S&P 500 for right now? I'm 26 years old. I need to become as rich as humanly possible by the time I'm 30, right? So I can enjoy my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, the rest of my life where I'm still able-bodied to be able to be rich, right? What am I doing with the S&P 500 to get 7 to 10% return on my money a year? For sure. Will I get rich for sure in the long term 40 years from now? Sure, I might have a couple $1,000,000. I will have a couple $1,000,000, but I need a couple $1,000,000 a year right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to the riskiest side of the the risk curve, which is crypto, right? And I'm not even, me and Bobby, we're not even in Bitcoin or Ethereum. So now we're not only in the riskiest market, but we're not even trading the stablest assets within that market. We're going even further down the risk curve in crypto, and we're trading altcoins, we're trading meme coins, things that are even further down the risk curve. We want maximum risk right now because if I lose 5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand right now, I have time on my side. I'm still young. I can recoup from that. Okay, it's not going to devastate me. It's not like I'm looking to retire in 1 to 2 years and I can't be losing my bag. No, I have time to make money and I have time to increase my income. I would rather gamble that 20, 30, 50, 100,000 right now and risk losing it, but have the opportunity to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 million, because that's going to be a whole lot more life changing to me, that couple of million, than it would be for me to lose the 10, 20, 50, 30, $30,000, right? My life will change way more if I hit as opposed to if I lose. If I lose, my life doesn't change.
That's a great point. I was just about to say, your life ain't going to change if you lose that money, but if you make the money you want to make and you could make with some of the plays that we see, like the Godius Maximus play, like that's a life-changing play. People probably retired off of that play that I saw last week. And there's some plays that I've been watching that could easily 1,000 extra money and put in there. So that's just what we're talking about. And it's funny you mentioned the S&P 500 because I had a conversation with a childhood friend the other day, and we used to talk about just stable investing in the S&P 500. Like when we were in high school, we talked about stocks and stuff like that. It was one of my good finance friends I would talk to. And I gave him the red pill on crypto, and I was like, listen, I'm like, if you zoom out on the S&P 500 chart, you're buying in at the top of the chart. I'm like, it's vertical up and you're buying in every single week. You're buying in at the top of the chart. It's like, it's what it is. And then I went through, I showed him CoinGecko. We talked for a good hour and a half, and he's like, I don't see the point of investing, I guess he's, whatever it is, 8 to 10% of his paycheck into his 401k, which is going to be put into all these major stocks. And he's like, yeah, but my company would say I'm diversifying in the stock market. I'm like, yeah, you're diversifying, but you're not really diversifying. It's the same. It's all bundled into one. So he's going to take some of his money that he makes on the month, on the paycheck. He's going to put it in the crypto, diversify his portfolio. That's going to give him a little bit more risk, but it's also going to give him a little bit more reward. So that's just little things that you could do to take on more risk. That's not going to, like you said, make you lose all your money, but it's something that you could work to make more money with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you, like you were saying with the S&P 500 chart, if you literally pull up the S&P 500 chart and you look at it from the time it started to where it is right now, it is effectively perma in price discovery. You get quick boom or bear markets every couple of years whenever the cycles play out. But after that bear market, it is literally perma up and to the right. Now, why is that? So financial markets are set up to work the way that they work by design, right? It's just all a big Ponzi scheme. So markets are manipulated. The market makers are deciding where the prices go, where the market goes long term, et cetera, et cetera. So it is quite literally just a rigged game. Okay. But what you got to realize is that you shouldn't get upset or be scared of it because it is a rigged game. You just need to understand how the game is played, understand the rules better than the normal person, and you'll be able to extract more gains from the market. So when you look at the S&P 500, the reason it's always perma up and to the right is because they've trained Americans to always put money into the S&P 500. So the big Ponzi scheme is that all these market makers, these massive companies that are have multi-billion, multi-trillion dollar valuations that are in the S&P 500, um, uh, every normal American is putting money into this index from their paycheck every 2 weeks, so that there's always rotating and increasing liquidity in the market, so that over time with inflation, the prices have to go up.
They're
They
like
literally.
a retirement fund, 401k retirement fund. So
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. So the 401ks, yeah.
yeah.
So you basically always are putting money in there from the vast majority of Americans across the country. So the prices are always going to go up because there's always liquidity going into that market. So it's just a rigged game. It's always going to go up. The thing with crypto, because and this is why crypto is so revolutionary right now, why it's so volatile. The reason the S&P 500 and 401ks are attractive is because they're not super volatile. So the average investor, just retail investor in their 401ks, they're not afraid of it because they know over time it's never going to go down. It just won't. With crypto, it's much more volatile, meaning that it will go down a lot further than a normal stock and it will go up a lot higher than a normal stock. So volatility works in both directions. The problem is people can't stomach the downside. But when you're young, you should be and you can stomach the downside, because if you're able to eat more downside and buy lower in DCA, you're also gonna what's it called? Benefit from the upside volatility that you're going to get in cryptocurrency.
Hmm.
And the reason crypto is so volatile is because the market manipulation is not as efficient as the stock market. Because institutional money, not until this year, wasn't allowed to be involved with it. Just this year, the first Bitcoin ETF and the first Ethereum ETFs were approved by the SEC. So for BlackRock and a couple of other major financial organizations. So financial or institutional money wasn't actually legal until this year in cryptocurrency. So what does that mean? We're about to go into the most advantageous environment a retail investor could possibly be in, because now that this institutional money is coming into the market, we have an opportunity while everything's being accumulated by these massive corporations for their ETFs. We accumulate with them. And what do you think the financial institutions are going to now do the price of crypto? They're not going to let it go down after they just accumulated for this past 7, 8, 9 months. No, they're going to accumulate to not send it lower, because they're not in the business of losing money. They're in the business of making money. So they're going to actually send the price so much higher now that the institutional money is in the market. And because there's institutional money, there's a much larger flow of liquidity into the market, into Bitcoin and Ethereum, because now retail, normie, older boomer investors who only typically do ETFs or the stock market are now able to get exposure to cryptocurrency through BlackRock, which is an institution that they trust. Otherwise, they never would have bought it. So now all this new liquidity is coming in, and we're going to benefit from that.
And people that aren't going to just buy and sell in a week, they're trying to get like a 10% return. These are long-term investors, holders.
Yes.
So a couple points I have. Um, Someone commented on my stream. They said, "Wow, I'm not sure the guy on the left gets this all the time, but he's hot."
Said that.
Denali Gordon. I don't know who that is.
That sounds like a dude, so that's kind of gay. But
But
Denali.
a few points on that. Um, one with one is with the institutional money. It's that these market, like you said, the stock market is manipulated. They have, think of Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, all these big hedge fund companies that buy in. They have these are geniuses. People from Harvard, people from the best schools in the world go to work at these banks. These are computer engineers that are creating algorithms that once the price hits a certain point, it's going to buy, and once it goes back up, hits a certain price, it's going to sell. It's not even humans trading at this point. It's algorithms and bots that are just on the money all the time. So if you think you could out compete a computer program bot that's just going to buy and sell at a profit every single time, then yeah, you could play it in the stock market. But realistically, you're not going to beat those bots and everything like that unless you're like staring at the charts 24/7. So that's a downside of the institutional investing, in my opinion, is that it's just there's so much going on now with so many different companies and people around the world that it's super competitive. But the second point is that think about if you got into the stock market in like 1990 before the dot-com bubble. That is like where we're at in point of crypto.
Yes.
There's so many new projects coming on, these new companies that are going to be evaluated at billions of dollars. And you have the potential, you literally have the potential to get in from the ground. If you hear about something, if you're well connected in the crypto space, even a meme coin, if you see something go up on Twitter 2 minutes ago and you go on your chart analysis and you see it went live 5 minutes ago, you could literally be in, you could be the first 1,000 holders of this and could go on to be something worth billions of dollars. So this is the power that we have. This is the power we have in crypto is you could get in early, you could hold, you could buy, sell at whenever you're happy with your profits. That is you can't really do with the stock market. It's incredible. It really is incredible.
Yeah. And so the point you were making about how intelligent these people are who are investing in these major financial markets, at some point they were going to want a piece of the action. Okay. And that's why they're starting to get in crypto. And like you were saying with the dot-com bubble as well, that was happening in the 90s. For those of you that don't know, because I know a lot of our viewers are younger, in the 90s, we went through the dot-com bubble. Dot-com bubble was whenever the internet was obviously becoming very popular and people were starting to use the internet more and more. It was a revolutionary, once in a generation. Why is he still commenting some shit? um, so it was a revolutionary, once in a generation technology. Okay. So what happened in the stock market at that time? If you look at the companies in the internet bubble, the dot-com bubble that were trading at that time, they were trading at such ridiculously high premiums that did not even make sense based off of revenue, profit, etc. The typical indicators you would use in the stock market right now for a company to evaluate the stock price, they didn't even take effect anymore. People were just speculating so hard and were appreciating the assets so high that they were trading at absolutely astronomical numbers. And so people were getting filthy rich during the dot-com bubble, trading these stocks because they were just appreciating so much. This is what's happening right now and what's been happening over the last 4 to 8 years with cryptocurrency. And it's now becoming confluent with another generational technology. So now not only do we have the generational technology of cryptocurrency and the blockchain, which Bitcoin was the original one, but now we have the technology of AI now integrating with cryptocurrency and becoming a part of the narrative. So whether it's an AI meme coin or utility coins that are based on AI products, etc., they're coming together at the same time. Plus, institutional money is now starting to get involved in this cycle. So what you're going to see is, and this is my belief, is that you're going to see not only one of the most profitable and one of the largest one of the longest bull runs that we've seen in the history of cryptocurrency, but you're going to see these coins trading at such absurd valuations due to the bubble that if you're here early and you recognize that right now, you're going to get filthy stinking rich if you have enough money into the market to be able to actually generate these gains. People were getting rich off of the two previous cycles that just would hold random coins and they get lucky and it would pump to the fucking moon and they get rich. This cycle, it's not going to be as difficult as you think. You just got to pick the couple of winners, the couple of strongest meme coins, the couple of strongest L1s and L2s. Just be diversified in whatever it is that you're investing in, and you're going to see absurd gains because as people start to FOMO into the market, once Bitcoin starts hitting 100,000, that's going to be the magic number. Once people start to see $100,000 Bitcoin, they're going to start to lose their minds. People are going to be dumping money into the ETFs, which is going to be the retail boomers, new liquidity that we're going to have access to. All the young people are going to be blowing all their money into meme coins because they feel like that's their only opportunity to be able to get out of the current matrix society that they're in right now. So all this liquidity is going to fly in. China's stimulating their economy, printing money. The US is stimulating the economy, bringing down interest rates. Like this shit is all coming together at the same time, including the US presidential election, where this market's going to fucking blow up. And it's going to be similar to the dot-com bubble where you're going to see such ridiculous evaluations. People are going to be getting filthy rich off of, $10,000 they put into a coin, right?
So right there, let's think about some of the companies that came out of the dot-com bubble too during that. So we have Microsoft was one, Apple, Google, even you could even group Amazon into there because they started in the late 90s. They might not have gone public until maybe the middle of the 2000s. But some of the biggest companies in the world came from that time, and this is the next phase of a once in a generation type technology. The internet, crypto, AI, it's all like you said, it's all coming together to be the perfect storm.
Mm-hmm. And who's all the rage in the stock market right now? Who's the big company that no matter what happens, literally just keeps going into price discovery? Nvidia.
Nvidia, yeah.
Nvidia is a what kind of company? AI. It's an AI company. So you see it now in the stock market too. The top gainer for this year and the previous year is Nvidia. The Nvidia just keeps going into price discovery, price discovery, price discovery. It just literally has not come out of parabola. It just keeps going up. So AI is that type of technology that we're seeing right now that's going to be revolutionary for this generation. Confluent with cryptocurrency, now that it's starting to get injected into that market as well, those types of projects, those types of meme coins, again, you're going to see ridiculous evaluations. As soon as you see all that liquidity start to come down the risk curve from US equities down into the Russell, which is going to be smaller cap companies in the stock markets. And then you see that money from the Russell go further down the risk curve into Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then once those start pumping hard, then you're going to see Bitcoin and Ethereum money flow down even further down the risk curve, which will be meme coins and altcoins that we're in right now. That's when we're going to see all of those gains. So you're just going to see the money continue to trickle all the way down the risk curve as people become more and more and more wealthy. And you see that wealth effect hit the lower and lower market cap coins and cryptocurrency. So we're basically just waiting for all that big money up in equities just trickle all the way down the chain onto our coins, which we own right now. So by the time that money gets down to us, that's when we see all the profits and all the gains.
So I think underrated coin going into maybe it's not underrated because it's like a top 5 coin, but I think the Solana network is gonna explode.
Yes.
I think the last bull run, 2021, it hit a high of like maybe 280 to 290, maybe almost 300 range. I think it triples that. I think it goes absolutely over $1,000 a coin. It's from a technology standpoint, it's the fastest to transfer. It's the cheapest fees as of right now, and it's where all of the hype is right now with the meme coins and all of that right now. Yeah, you have it on Ethereum. Yeah, you have it on Base. I think Base is a close runner up to Solana, but I think honestly, if Ethereum keeps going the way it's going, I think Solana is going to overtake Ethereum. That's a hot take, but over the next couple of years, I mean, I haven't seen anything that tells me Ethereum is going to outperform Solana.
Right. Yeah. And it is. Solana is outperforming. Right now, you literally look at the Solana Ethereum chart, Solana divided by Ethereum. Yeah, Solana is breaking out right now. So it's outperforming Ethereum. And the Solana is so volatile, but that's also why you can make so much money on that L1 too, is because just last year in 2023, I was buying Solana at $10 to $15 a token.
No.
$10 to $15 a token for Solana I was buying in 2023. All right. It's now worth what, 160 some dollars per token.
Yeah, it's up like 10%
So
today or something.
yeah, that's a 10x. Guys, think about that. That's a 10x just from last year. So if you got $10,000 of Solana divided by $15 a coin. So I had, 666 tokens, 666 times $160 a token. Now you turned $10,000 into $100,000. It's literally a 10x in 1 year. That's on an L1, a major L1. So it's the fourth largest, I believe. No, fifth, maybe fifth largest market cap
Fourth or
cryptocurrency.
fifth, yeah.
Yeah, because it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT, and then BNB, and then probably Solana. So, anyways, the point is Solana is a major cryptocurrency that is a high market cap, so it's difficult to get a large return on it like that. But in just 1 year, even off of Solana, you got a 10x. $15 up to $150. That's a 10x. You put in 10 grand, you have 100 grand now. Think about that. You had $10,000, you have $100,000 now a year later. What other markets are you doing that in? You
None.
can't. You don't.
So we got a question in the chat from the same person who called you hot and your physique is incredible. They asked, how will the American presidential election impact Bitcoin? Would profits be better under Trump or Kamala? I think, honestly, as of right now, from what I'm seeing, I don't think it's really going to matter. I don't think it's really going to matter. I think there's so much hype around just what's going on in the crypto space anyway. I think they're both. I mean, the government owns Bitcoin, so either way, the government's going to own Bitcoin, and the president is not just going to sell Bitcoin. They don't have that power. So I don't really think it matters. But I think from some things Trump said, it might maybe outperform under Trump. Maybe I don't know. It's hard to tell. But what's your
Mhm.
take on that?
Yeah, I agree. So in the grand scheme of things, I agree that I do have obviously a strong opinion on who I want to win, but trying to be as objective as humanly possible because that's
Yeah.
the goal, right? You want to be super objective. Yeah, with crypto, I honestly don't believe in the long term it matters who wins. Equity markets, cryptocurrency, it's all a big Ponzi, anyways. Regardless of who's in control, the markets are still going to go up, just due to inflation over time. Now, from a micro perspective as opposed to macro, I don't believe it matters to in terms of where we end next year.
Hmm.
Micro, though, you are seeing it. You can argue seeing it in the markets, them pricing in Trump winning. So Trump, just through policy and the way he's talked about Bitcoin and talked about cryptocurrency, he is more bullish for the market in the short term because as you see Trump's percentage chance on poly market to win the election continue to rise, you saw Bitcoin continue to pump up as well, confluent with that data. So crypto native people are most certainly more pro Trump. And so it is pumping the prices in the short term. But again, regardless of who wins after the election, in terms of the end all be all where the price is going to top out at, I don't believe that's going to be affected by who actually is president or not. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Short term, though, does look better for Trump, though.
I agree, and from another, if you think of it from another perspective of what, think of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's administration has done over the past 4 years. I think that's giving more people an inkling to get into crypto just because of what the dollar has done over the past 4 years. It's weakened significantly. That people don't really have a lot of faith in the administration to take care of the dollar or to even make more money GDP wise. So I think that's giving people more of an inkling to get into crypto and to diversify and try to take on more risk to make more money because from what people have seen over the past 4 years, their money isn't going as far. So I think that's another, and it's this is where it gets like one thing that doesn't equal another, but it kind of does. It's like for me, like I see what happens over the past 4 years. It's like, okay, well, I can't keep doing what I'm doing because obviously that's not going to make me more money. So you have to change and you have to get into these alternative investments, which Bitcoin and crypto is. So from that perspective, I could see it going higher if Kamala does get reelected. So, it's give and take with everything.
For sure. And it's an interesting point you talk about the US dollar strength. Whenever you're trading assets and you own assets, whether it's a home, whether it's stock, whether it's cryptocurrency, it doesn't matter, what type of asset you own. As the dollar becomes weaker and is worth less, assets always naturally pump. Okay. Somebody's knocking at the door. I'm busy. Yeah. I don't know who it is. So, but as the the dollar becomes weaker, assets will pump naturally because that means that one of two things. As the dollar gets weaker and it inflates, it costs more to buy something, right? So an asset, which is something that needs to be purchased with by dollars, is going to naturally appreciate as the US dollar gets weaker, right? On top of that, with cryptocurrency, I've talked about this in the past. The thing that's so fantastic about crypto that when it had clicked in my mind, I understood how important it is to be in it, is that crypto is not only just an asset that appreciates like a stock, but you can't buy and sell things with an actual stock itself, right? So like if I buy 100 stocks of Apple, I can't just go to the grocery store or go to my buddy and be like, hey, I'll give you 100 Apple stocks and you give me this or whatever. Just purchase things with it. It doesn't work like that. You have to sell it for fiat, and then you can use the fiat once it's in your bank account to buy things.
Mm-hmm.
Crypto is a currency, but it also appreciates, unlike the US dollar. The US dollar is not backed by anything. It's just you print it, and the more that you print, the less it's worth. If you have a Bitcoin or you have Ethereum or whatever it may be, it can depreciate, but that asset can also appreciate. So you, by just holding Bitcoin, something that you can purchase things with, similar to the US dollar, can also appreciate greatly over time. So not only are you able to buy and sell things with it, but you're also able to have more money in the future because it appreciates as opposed to a US dollar that sits in your bank account. You're always going to have less money down the road if you just hold it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it doubles as both. It's an asset and a form of exchange.
100%. I I had a little conversation with someone on X the other day. They were talking about uh, it was the something about Russia meeting with somebody in the Middle East, maybe the UAE, about oil transferring oil, and this guy said, "This is going to be the downfall of America with BRICS," and I was like, "Why is that?" And he's like, "Well, once Russia and UAE start trading oil, it's over for the U.S." I was like, first of all, the U.S. drills the most oil than any other country in the world. So first of all, the trade between Russia and the UAE is going to be price determined on whatever the U.S. does with their oil, which under Trump will be a lot more, and the U.S. will make a lot more money under Trump with the oil in terms of oil. Secondly, I'm like, America is the leading innovator in crypto. Like, there's not many more. I don't think like any other countries around the world that are worth more in crypto than the United States right now. I don't know how much of a data point that is, if you could actually track that, but from what I understand, I don't know any other countries that have companies like BlackRock and JP Morgan, Chase, Tesla, like all these companies own these assets now. So even if it does go that way in the future, like America's still gonna have all the assets in terms of cryptocurrency, even if the dollar ends up shitting the bed in 100 years, whatever happens with the dollar, hopefully it gets back on track and people make more money. But if it doesn't, like I think we're a step ahead in terms of other countries.
That's why it's so important that we adopt crypto and be a leader in crypto, is because if we own so much of those assets that the whole world is going to start trading and wanting, then that obviously gives the United States itself power in terms of money. The US government, I saw a chart recently, they were the largest holder or one of the largest holders of Bitcoin. And do you know how they got all their Bitcoin? From seizing it from people who had it illegally, right? They seized it from, and I know a lot of it came from whenever they closed down the Silk Road, which was that dark web website where people
Oh,
selling drugs on there, doing all these different things on the dark web. When they had closed down the Silk Road, they had seized a lot of that Bitcoin from that website and those people. So the United States is actually one of the largest holders of Bitcoin in the entire world. Isn't
that's
that funny how that?
that's interesting. Because I remember
Yeah,
hearing about that as a kid. You hear about the dark web, and I remember like, oh yeah, you can't use money on there. You gotta use crypto. And back then, you're like, what? What is that? I mean, we were young. We were probably like
right.
10 years old. But yeah, that's very interesting. I remember they closed all that down. And if you even think about it too, I'm sure they probably got a little bit from that FTX situation that Sam Bankman-Fried was, laundering crypto in and out of places. They probably took whatever was left of that company, probably a couple billion. So yeah, I'm sure they're accumulating it in different ways.
Yeah, the U.S. government they happily seized it, so they have it, right? They don't want other people to have it or use it or be adopted as a main currency, but they'll have it themselves. They'll take it, right? With FTX, that's interesting that you bring that up. So Sam Bankman-Fried, and I was actually just watching a Tucker Carlson interview with one of the guys who used to work for FTX that just got 7.5 years in prison for election. I forget the actual name of the charge, but basically they invoked lawfare on him. And they're going to put him in jail just because he was donating to Republican candidates, which is incredible. It's the most bullshit, terrible, sad situation because you see how the democracy and the court system in our country is crumbling because it's being used to punish people that disagree with a certain type of point of view, which is disgusting. So Tucker Carlson had this guy on his podcast recently. So he was talking about the whole FTX situation. And so what happened at FTX was basically so for those of you that don't know, FTX used to be the second largest crypto exchange, centralized crypto exchange in the world behind Binance. So Sam Bankman-Fried was the owner and the guy who was running this company. And so what FTX did was the reason they got in trouble is people would put their money and put their crypto on the exchange whenever they would buy it, and they would just hold it on that
There's like
exchange.
celebrities too, like endorsing like famous people, doing commercials, like
Yeah, it was
well-known people.
huge. Huge, second largest exchange in the entire world. There's so many crypto exchanges out there. They were number two, the second largest behind Binance. And so what had happened was they found out that all these billions and billions and billions of dollars of assets that were supposed to be on the platform were magically not there. Like when I mean, literally billions and billions of dollars of people's money that should have been there was not there. It was gone. So that's a big problem. All right. So obviously that money's somewhere. And whenever the company went down, the people who had all that fictitious crypto and money on the platform, it all disappeared. They all lost all their money. It was disgusting. But what had happened, basically, the guy was explaining what Sam Bankman-Fried had been doing, or what he speculates what had happened was that in crypto, you can take out loans against your assets. Okay. So a decentralized loan, a crypto loan, basically what you do is you put up cryptocurrency as collateral, and then you loan against that cryptocurrency to be able to go ahead and do other things with that money, right? So similar to how whenever you get a mortgage for a house, the collateral is the home itself. So the bank says, if you don't pay back this loan, we take your house. So with the crypto loan, the way that it works is you give the lender crypto, and then they give you a loan, and you can use that. And if you don't pay back the loan, they just take the crypto you gave them. Anyways, point is that what Sam Bankman-Fried had been doing is he would launch these tokens, his own tokens. So he didn't spend any money to get these tokens. He literally just created them out of thin air and would launch a token. And because the platform was so large and he was so famous in the crypto industry, people would just buy it and it would pump. It would pump. So what he was doing is he would just create these fake, not fake, they were real tokens, but he would just create these random crypto coins and put an arbitrary value to them and use that as collateral to the lenders to take out legitimate cryptocurrencies, which were Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So he was putting up all this Fugazi collateral, but getting all this real crypto. And then he took that and he went and bought things with it, invested in other things, bought properties in the Bahamas, etc. Right? So anyways, long story short, he blew all of it. He sold it all for other shit. 2021, peak of the bull market, everything was great. After the bull market was starting to end and all the assets were starting to depreciate, and they were losing money, he had to pay back these loans. But he didn't have the money to pay back the loans anymore because all the assets had been depreciating, right? So he didn't have the money to pay it back. So what he started to do was he started taking all the clients' money off of the exchange to then start paying back the lenders that gave him those loans. And that's where the money disappeared to. So, so that's the story with that. But I don't know what the point of that was, but just so people know what happened with FTX. Yeah. So anyways, the company crashed. Dude's going to jail. Big fucking problem. But that's why you want to be on decentralized exchanges as much as humanly possible. Don't keep your money on a centralized exchange. Don't.
And that's a good point. That is when I was just saying before about my one friend who wanted to get into crypto, and he's like, well, why wouldn't I just keep it on an exchange like Coinbase or something in your wallet? I'm like, well, you ever heard of a FTX? Like, that's exactly what happened. And then he started to understand. He's like, oh, so then it's on the blockchain. I'm like, yes. Then it's encrypted to your wallet, and you know exactly what it is. It's on this wallet. It's on the blockchain. And that's when it really clicked for him. So, yeah, it's like you don't want to give your money or put your crypto in these companies because then they could just do whatever they want with it. If they want to leverage it over here, they want to leverage it over here. You don't know where your money's actually at. But when it's encrypted into your wallet, then you know exactly where it's at and what it's doing. And you own it. It's yours.
Right. Exactly. And that's why crypto is so attractive to people, because it is decentralized. So you want to keep it as decentralized as humanly possible. There's centralized exchanges and then there's decentralized exchanges. So sexes and dexes. Don't get all worked out, ladies and gentlemen. Sex is CEX, not SEX. So Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, these real companies that exist that are run by human beings are centralized exchanges. So you don't want to be in a centralized exchange and keep your money on there, because if that company goes under, like FTX, you lose all your money. If that company, that you don't know what happens, like your crypto is on their platform, they own it. It's under your account, but they own it. They have it. When you get it off of that centralized exchange and put it into your wallet, it's now decentralized, like you said. So now nobody can take it away from you as long as they don't have your seed phrase. It's on the blockchain, on your wallet. If it's there, it can't be taken, it can't be moved. That's where it's at. It's on your wallet.
Yep.
So, and that's the idea, because if you leave your money in a bank, what does the bank do? If a bank goes under in the real world, what happens to the banks that go under? People lose their money. The clients lose their money, right? Is it the FDIC, federal?
Yeah, was that 250,000 you're insured?
Yeah.
So if you have more than 250,000, you're not going to get anything.
If you have $1 million in the bank and the bank goes under and the government doesn't bail out that bank, you lost your million. You only get a quarter mil back. 250,000 is what you're insured up to. So it's the same thing with an exchange. Don't leave your money with a centralized institution where other human beings can fuck it up. Let math do the work. Let decentralization do the work. Math is math. You can't undo math. If you have $1 million in your wallet, that million ain't going anywhere.
It's
It's not
just
going anywhere.
all it really is just it's the lazy way to buy crypto. It's if you want to get it, if you're a beginner, you're brand new, you go to Coinbase, you go to Binance or wherever, and you buy it there. But once you take this next level and you understand what's going on, you put it in your wallet where you can start trading it. You can start sending it to your friends. You and your friends, but or you pay people with it. Whatever you want to do, it's all done in the wallet. So that's super important.
Boom. Well, I mean, I think that's a good place to start
Yeah.
wrapping it up. You got any other questions or any other points you want to touch upon?
I do have a question. I wanted to know what the beach was like out there and on the Pacific Mexico coast.
Como un baño. Like I was saying on Sunday, my grandfather, or not my grandfather, my godfather, when we would go to the beach growing up in Ocean City, Maryland, he would always say, "Oh, como un baño," right? Like a bath water, the ocean. But it was fucking Ocean City, Maryland. It wasn't like bath water. It was fucking
71
cold.
degrees.
Yeah, it was cold as shit. But down here where I'm at on the West Coast in Mexico, it is fucking fantastic. So where we're at right now, it's basically jungle up to the beach. And then you get onto the beach, and then it's all the ocean, the rocks, etc. It's beautiful. It's mountains all the way around, and then right into the beach. And the water literally is como un baño. You get into the ocean, and it is warm. The water is warm, so you could stay in there all day. The sun wasn't even that strong because it's October right now, so the sun wasn't killing me. It wasn't overly hot. Like it was just,
It's perfect,
dude, it
isn't
was
it?
fantastic. Yeah, we're gonna have to come back down here.
Yeah.
We'll do a trip next year.
Yeah, we'll do a
We'll come
trip.
down here. It is, yeah, it's fantastic. I really felt so good the whole time I was down here. It's humid, but yeah, the beaches were fantastic. The food's better. I mean, you just realize once you're outside of the US for an extended period of time, you see how different people live. You see how different the food is, the culture, the lifestyle. It's like there's so many different ways to live your life out there that if you don't explore, you might be living the rest of your life in a way that you wouldn't really like to live it. But if you go to a random country and it just happens to fit you, you feel like a different person. It's like you found your home.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's amazing, player. We're gonna have to definitely come down for sure.
Yeah, I like the aspect of it kind of being isolated and then it's like a resort and just being out there and just doing nothing but just relaxing, taking in the sun, the beach, the food, like you said.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It is
And I know
fantastic.
what you're
So
saying with the water too, because that's how it is down here in the Gulf in Florida. It's just fucking hot. Bath water. That's why the
bath water.
hurricanes
That's not
stir up every freaking 2 weeks because the water is
right. Yeah.
100 degrees.
Yeah. No, it's wonderful. Here in Cabo's not too far away. Cabo San Lucas
Hmm.
and Cabo is fantastic too. I like that weather because Cabo's more desert. So it's still hot, it's still warm, it's still good water, good beaches, etc. But it's not as humid. So during the evening times, it's fresh. It's desert landscape or yeah, desert as opposed to super high humidity jungle.
Okay.
But it's super close to where I'm at right now too. So yeah, I would not be shocked if I ended up building a house out here. I
Yeah.
would not be shocked if I did. Yeah.
Oh, you could
It's
probably
it's
live out there
fantastic.
cheap, like a king. And what, if you
No, the
wanted to get to California, a couple hours maybe?
Yeah, not far at all. I got a flight to Sky Harbor Airport from where I'm at right now. It's about hour some flight or hour, it's close 2 hour maybe flight. Um, the last thing I'll mention because this is called the gentleman's code, right? The whole point we talk about what we talk about is becoming a gentleman in your life, being the best version of yourself, and being somebody that women want to be with, being somebody that men want to be friends with, etc. That's a big part of becoming a gentleman is learning different cultures and traveling the world. The amount that you're going to learn from changing your environment and meeting new people, learning how they live, understanding different ways of thought processes that people have, not only makes you much more intelligent, much more interesting, but makes you way more attractive to the people around you. Because now you talk to girls, you have different experiences, you have different things that you can teach them about, you have different ways of thinking and looking at things in life that it just naturally makes you more, it just makes you better, more competitive. So the more that you travel and the more that you put yourself in uncomfortable environments and learn how to thrive in those environments, the more adaptable you become. and the more fantastic you become. That's a part of becoming a gentleman, is changing your environment and learning new things so that you can come back with new stories, come back with new experiences, and give that to the people around you, right? Because that's what makes you interesting, right?
That's a great point. No girl's gonna be with a guy that don't know nothing. Like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't know the culture here. I've never been here. It's like nobody wants to be with nobody that don't know anything. So even
Yes.
you go somewhere, you learn about what it is. You learn the history. You learn about the food. You learn about what it takes like to live there, what these people go through, or what they do on the day to day. And then you understand. And you go out to the bar there and you talk to people and you have a better understanding and you make more connections, and then you go home and you could tell stories about when you traveled here, and it just makes you more high valued as a person because you've been places, you've seen things. That's what's so important.
Gentlemen get their value from how much experience they have, right? Like you said, I have to echo it again because women are attracted to men that can teach them things, that have experience, that have done things. This is why scars are attractive for guys and scars are unattractive for girls, right? For men, a scar means you were killed and or somebody tried to kill you and you survived. You have that experience. You can show that. And for girls, the reason that's not so attractive is because you want untouched, unharmed, you want more femininity. You want more how do you say it? Innocence, right?
Innocence.
Yeah. So, but for men, it's the complete opposite. The more you suffer, the more that you do, the more that you know, the more that you can teach, the more attractive you become to the people around you, which is ultimately the goal as a gentleman. Just become the most formidable individual you possibly can be. So you got to be competent in all realms.
Yep.
And that's exactly what we are.
And we'll end it. We can end it here, but I do want to maybe our next episode, because somebody asked me in the Sunday conversation about the clothing and how to dress and stuff. So we'll have to do a little
Yes.
something. Maybe we'll make up a little presentation or something about getting you guys fitted, looking good, smelling good, good colognes, things that you
A
could
great
do
idea.
to make yourself a more high value man. Nobody wants to be with a smelly dude who dresses like a bum. So it's all about you got to get right.
That's a fantastic idea. I'm putting that in the notes right now. So talk about fashion and cologne,
Shoe game,
etc. Beautiful.
accessories.
I think that's a fantastic idea. Yes, because that'll be huge for men to. That was one of the big things that I had to learn. One of my mentors, he taught me how to dress, how to smell in terms of cologne. Uh, he taught me a lot about the fashion side of things. That's very important because that is a huge part of becoming a gentleman. You want to look good, tailored suits, good colognes, good accessories, everything. Yeah, that's huge. That's super important. So, yeah, next week let's talk about that for sure.
All right. All right, yeah,
Yeah.
Denali, if you want to listen to the next episode, just subscribe, brother. We're here every Wednesday, so.
Every Wednesday. Cool. Anything you want to wrap us up with?
No, that's it. It's a great episode. I hope you have some safe travels back home. I'll be here grinding, and we'll figure.
No. It happened again.
No, did you toast the stream?
Yeah, I didn't have the microphone on. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna